The following content has been generated with artificial intelligence under minimal human supervision. The data presented may contain errors or inaccuracies. The opinions expressed in this content do not necessarily reflect the vision, position, or values of DigiAll. We recommend verifying critical information with additional sources before making decisions based on this content.
Welcome to DigiAll Tech News. Today is Friday, June 12th, 2026. I'm Kylie Brooks, and this is where technology becomes clear and engaging. Anthropic and OpenAI are turning the frontier AI race into a bitter public market contest, with accounting disputes, IPO positioning, and personal tension at the center. A claimed TechCrunch story about Equal AI raising $30 million could not be verified, even as the Hyderabad startup remains part of India's crowded AI call screening fight. OpenAI is leaning hard into enterprise customers, while Apple and Google push consumer AI deeper into everyday products. Jeff Bezos and Vic Bajaj's industrial AI startup Prometheus has raised $12 billion at a roughly $41 billion valuation. Corporate America's AI hiring boom is heavily tilted toward experienced workers, with senior roles dominating S&P 500 postings. Let's start with the rivalry shaping the top of the AI industry. Anthropic and OpenAI were both founded around safety-focused missions by people connected to the original OpenAI circle, but the relationship has hardened into what one benchmarking CEO, Anastasios Angelopoulos of Arena, called all-out war between these guys. The fight is not just personal. Both companies are racing toward potential IPOs, with Anthropic having confidentially filed earlier, and OpenAI has told investors and employees that Anthropic's preferred accounting method overstates its revenue by billions of dollars. Sam Altman and Dario Amodei also rejected a call for a public show of unity at an AI summit, which tells you how little appetite there is for pretending this is a friendly competition. That matters because rivalry can be productive. It can speed up model releases, pricing pressure, and technical progress. But when the same rivalry spills into financial reporting, talent fights, and public positioning before possible listings, investors and regulators will be asking a sharper question. Are these companies proving durable businesses or just trying to control the story before the market does? Now, this is a different kind of tech news story because the most important fact is what could not be confirmed. A claimed TechCrunch piece said Equal AI had raised $30 million to screen calls in India, but searches across the web, and TechCrunch did not turn up a matching article, date, title, or funding round. What is verifiable is that Equal AI is a Hyderabad-based company founded by Keshav Reddy of GVK, building an AI call assistant for unknown and spam calls in India, with an emphasis on real-time interaction and local languages. Public funding information points to about $10.3 million raised in total, including a Series A in 2024, not a confirmed $30 million round this year. In practical terms, the need is real. Spam calls and language diversity make India a tough, valuable market for call screening tools. But the takeaway is also about discipline. AI startups can be solving a real problem and still have unverified fundraising claims circulating around them. For users, the next question is not just whether an assistant can answer the phone, but whether it can do that privately, accurately, and better than entrenched options from Truecaller, Google, and Apple. Here's the strategic split to watch. OpenAI became a household name through ChatGPT, but it is now leaning aggressively into enterprise customers, especially where AI-assisted coding is gaining traction. That enterprise momentum is part of the backdrop for its confidential IPO preparation. At the same time, Apple is using its annual developers conference to unveil a standalone Siri AI app, and Google is rolling out consumer AI offerings aimed at making the technology feel useful in everyday life. So the question is not simply who has the best model, it is who owns the relationship with the user. OpenAI appears to be betting that high-value business adoption can create a stronger foundation than consumer attention alone. Apple and Google, meanwhile, can push AI through devices, apps, and services people already use. That matters for pricing, accessibility, and what features get prioritized. If OpenAI gives up too much consumer mindshare, it could lose the habit-forming layer that made ChatGPT famous. But if its coding and enterprise tools keep proving valuable, the company may not need to win every consumer surface to stay central. Prometheus is getting the kind of funding that turns a young startup into an immediate test case. Jeff Bezos and Vic Bajaj, the company's co-founders and co-CEOs, sat down at Prometheus headquarters in San Francisco on June 11th as the company announced a $12 billion Series B round, valuing it at roughly $41 billion. Bezos joined this round after already being the largest backer of the earlier $6.2 billion Series A. The company, which launched publicly in November 2025, describes itself as an industrial and physical AI venture, focused on accelerating the invention loop, basically shortening the path from idea to manufacturable, useful products. Bajaj brings a science background as a physicist and chemist who previously worked with Google X and Verily, while Bezos framed the mission around invention, civilizational wealth creation, and a future where AI raises living standards even as labor becomes scarce. The grounded read is this: if AI can genuinely help engineers and manufacturers move faster, the impact could be enormous. But at this valuation, the pressure is equally enormous. "We're not being secretive" is a useful message, but the real proof will be technical systems, commercial deployment, and whether Prometheus can turn big ambition into working industrial tools. And finally, the AI jobs boom has a pipeline problem. The AI-driven Enterprise Institute analyzed more than 161,000 AI-related LinkedIn postings from S&P 500 companies during the month of January, and found that 71% were senior-level roles. These are jobs like data analysts and machine learning engineers, where employers want people who can step into complex systems quickly. Only 13% of postings targeted junior or entry-level candidates, while 16% were middle tier. That matters because a hiring boom that mostly rewards experienced workers can still leave new graduates and career switchers locked out of the very field everyone says is expanding. The bigger issue is whether this is a temporary scaling phase or a structural shift. Companies may feel they need senior talent first because AI systems touch data, infrastructure, compliance, and product strategy all at once. But if businesses do not create entry points, they risk narrowing the future talent pool. AI may be creating jobs, just not yet the kind of ladder that lets enough new people climb into them. Today's thread is accountability. Frontier AI companies are racing toward market scrutiny. Funding claims need verification. Consumer and enterprise strategies are splitting. Industrial AI has to justify giant checks, and the AI labor market still has to prove it can create opportunity beyond senior specialists. The technology is moving fast, but the hard questions are getting more specific. Thank you for staying informed with DigiAll Tech News. We'll be back with more updates as they develop.